I arrived home on my 28th birthday, expecting a family dinner. I walked into an empty house with a single cupcake on the kitchen counter and a note saying, "Sorry, something came up." I sat alone, eating takeout Chinese food, hearing distant laughter from the backyard. I investigated and discovered through the fence that my entire family was throwing a massive celebration for my younger brother's promotion at my parents' house next door. They never told me. They chose my birthday. On purpose. I stood frozen at that fence for what felt like an eternity but was probably only 10 minutes. My phone was already in my hand, and I started recording everything I saw. The party wasn't just some casual get-together. This was elaborate, professional. Through the wooden slats, I counted 43 people. 43. My parents were there, obviously. My younger brother Travis, 26 years old, and apparently the center of the universe. His fiancée Heather, who always looked at me like I was furniture. My aunts, uncles, cousins, people I'd grown up with. Childhood friends who'd texted me happy birthday that very morning were now raising champagne glasses to Travis. And my grandmother. That hit the hardest. She'd raised me when my parents divorced when I was 8. They'd remarried each other when I was 15, but by then, the damage was done. Grandma had been my rock. Seeing her there, at a party I wasn't invited to, on my birthday, felt like betrayal on a cellular level. The decorations were insane. A professional catering company had set up long tables with white linens. A live jazz band played near the pool. There was an actual champagne tower, the kind you see in movies. And hanging across the patio was a custom banner that read Travis, Director of Operations in gold letters that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. Director of Operations. That's what this was about. Travis got promoted at his marketing firm, and they'd turned my birthday into his coronation. The note on my counter said something came up. This wasn't something that came up. This was planned. Weeks in advance. The band, the caterers, the guest list, the invitations. My parents had deliberately chosen my birthday to celebrate Travis, and they'd lied to my face about it. I don't know what possessed me to walk over there. Maybe it was the 3 beers I'd had with my sad takeout dinner. Maybe it was 28 years of being invisible finally breaking through. But I walked around to the front gate and let myself in. The music didn't stop, but the conversation did. 43 people turned to look at me like I'd just crashed a funeral. My mother's face went pale. She was holding a champagne flute, frozen halfway to her mouth. My father's expression wasn't guilt, though. It was anger. Pure, undisguised anger. That I had the audacity to show up. Travis, wearing a suit that probably cost $2,000, walked toward me with this huge smile on his face. Not embarrassed, not apologetic, just smiling like we were old buddies meeting at a bar. "Hey," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Glad you could make it. We figured you wouldn't mind sharing your birthday since my promotion is actually important." The words hit me like a physical blow. Sharing. Like I had any say in this. Like I'd been consulted. Like my birthday was just some inconvenient scheduling conflict. Heather, standing next to him in a dress that probably cost as much as his suit, actually laughed. "Besides," she added, linking her arm through Travis's, "you're always so understanding." My mother rushed over, still holding that champagne. "Sweetie," she said, and I hated how she used that word. "We were going to do something small for you tomorrow. You know how it is." Travis worked so hard for this promotion, and the venue was only available tonight. The venue was only available tonight, on my birthday, and that was somehow my problem. My father joined them, and I could see he was trying to keep his voice low, but I heard every word. "Don't make a scene, Solomon. Travis worked hard for this position. We're celebrating his success. Be a man about it. Be a man about it." That was rich, coming from someone who'd forgotten his oldest son existed. I looked at Travis again, really looked at him. He was still smiling, but there was something else in his eyes. Satisfaction. He was enjoying this. The attention, the party, the fact that even on my birthday, he was still the star. "You know how much this cost?" Travis said, gesturing at the decorations, the band, the catering setup. 12 grand. Dad pulled out all the stops. $12,000. I knew because I'd overheard my father on the phone last week, negotiating with the caterer. At the time, I thought maybe they were planning something for an anniversary. It never occurred to me they were planning this. My mind flashed back to 5 years ago. My college graduation. I'd worked 3 jobs to pay my way through state school, graduated with honors, landed a job at a respected architecture firm. My parents took me to Denny's. We sat in a booth for 30 minutes while my father checked his phone and my mother complained about the coffee. Then they said they had somewhere else to be and left me there with the check. But Travis gets promoted to director of operations, and they spend $12,000 on a party. My grandmother appeared at my elbow. She was 78, still sharp as ever, and she looked furious. "Solomon, honey, I didn't know you weren't invited. Your mother said you had other plans." "I didn't," I said quietly. "I was at home, alone, eating Chinese takeout, on my birthday." Her face crumpled. She started to say something, but my mother cut her off. "Mom, please, we'll sort this out later. Let's not ruin Travis's night." Ruin Travis's night. That's what I would be doing if I stayed. If I expressed any hurt or anger. If I dared to suggest that maybe, just maybe, having a massive party for my brother on my birthday without even telling me was wrong. I looked at all of them. My parents, who'd chosen one son over the other so many times I'd lost count. Travis, who'd never had to work for anything in his life, and still got everything handed to him. Heather, who treated me like I was the help. My extended family, who'd all apparently decided that my feelings didn't matter. And I left. I didn't say another word. I just turned around, walked back through that gate, and drove home. My hands were shaking so hard, I had to pull over twice. When I finally got back to my empty house with the pathetic single cupcake still sitting on the counter, I sat down in the dark and realized something. This wasn't new. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was my entire life. And I'd been too blind, too hopeful, too desperate for their approval to see it. But I was seeing it now. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. I kept replaying the party in my head, kept seeing Travis's smug smile and my mother's dismissive "we'll do something tomorrow." Like I was an afterthought. Like I'd always been an afterthought. Around 3 in the morning, I gave up on sleep and made coffee. Strong coffee. Then I sat at my kitchen table and started making a list. Not a mental list. An actual, written down, documented list of every single time my family had chosen Travis over me. I'm a senior architect at Morrison & Fletcher, a respected firm in Phoenix. I make $92,000 a year. Not wealthy, but comfortable. I own my house outright, paid it off early. I have savings. I have a career I'm proud of. On paper, I'm successful. But none of that ever mattered to my parents. Travis is 2 years younger than me. He's always been the golden child. Always. When we were kids, I thought maybe it was because he was the baby of the family. Then I thought maybe it was because he was more outgoing, more charming. Now, sitting in my dark kitchen at 3 in the morning, I realized it didn't matter why. It just was. I started writing. High school graduation. I was valedictorian. Gave the speech. My parents sat in the back row and left halfway through to make it to Travis's baseball game. A regular season game. Not playoffs. Not a championship. Just a regular Tuesday afternoon game. They missed my speech, missed the ceremony where I received a full academic scholarship to Arizona State, missed everything because Travis was pitching. College graduation. I already mentioned Denny's. What I didn't mention was that Travis graduated 2 years later, and my parents threw him a party at a country club. 200 people. They rented out the whole venue, hired a photographer, had a slideshow. I wasn't even asked to give a toast. I bought my first house when I was 25, saved for years, got a good deal on a small place that needed work, and fixed it up myself. My parents visited once, stayed for 20 minutes. My mother said the neighborhood looked rough, and my father spent the whole time on a conference call in his car. Travis bought a condo last year. My parents gave him $40,000 for the down payment. $40,000. They threw a housewarming party that lasted 6 hours. They invited everyone we knew. They acted like he'd built the place with his bare hands. 3 years ago, I got engaged. Her name was Claudia. She was a pediatric nurse. Smart, kind, funny. I was crazy about her. I wanted my parents to meet her, to get to know her, to be part of my life. They said they were too busy. For 6 months, they were too busy. Every time I suggested dinner or coffee or anything, they had an excuse. Eventually, Claudia asked me if my parents didn't like her. I said they were just busy. But she knew, and I knew. And the relationship ended partly because she couldn't understand why my family treated me like I didn't exist. Travis got engaged 6 months ago. To Heather. My parents threw an engagement party before Travis even told me he'd proposed. 200 people again. Engagement photos professionally done. My mother cried tears of joy. My father made a speech about how proud he was. I was invited, by the way. I showed up. I smiled. I congratulated them. I gave them a gift, an expensive one. A set of crystal wine glasses, $300. My mother asked me to help set up tables. Like I was the caterer. I kept writing. The list grew longer. Birthday parties where Travis got huge celebrations, and I got a phone call. Christmas mornings where Travis got a pile of presents, and I got a sweater. Family vacations that Travis was invited on and I wasn't. Every single milestone in my life was minimized, overlooked, or forgotten. Every single milestone in Travis's life was treated like a national holiday. When the sun came up, I had 6 pages of single-spaced examples. 6 pages. 28 years of being second place, of being invisible. Then I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I started going through social media. My mother's Facebook, my father's Facebook, the family Instagram accounts. I counted. Over the past 5 years, my parents had posted 213 photos of Travis. 213. Birthday parties, work events, random Sunday dinners, his engagement, his trips, his accomplishments, his face. They'd posted 7 photos of me. 7. And 3 of those were group shots where I was barely visible in the background. I found something else while I was scrolling. A family group chat I didn't know existed. It was called Travis Fan Club. I'm not joking. That was the actual name. My parents, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. 22 people in that chat. All of them sharing updates about Travis. Photos of Travis. Funny things Travis said. Plans for Travis's wedding. His wedding. That kept coming up. They were all talking about it. Travis and Heather were getting married in 3 months, apparently. At a winery in Napa Valley. Destination wedding. Everyone in the chat was excitedly discussing travel plans. What to wear. Whether to rent a party bus. Nobody had told me. Not Travis. Not my parents. Nobody. Then I found a text thread between my parents from 2 weeks ago. It was in a screenshot someone had accidentally posted in the group chat and quickly deleted, but I'd saved it. My mother. Should we cancel Solomon's birthday this year? My father. He won't care. He never makes a fuss. Travis's promotion party is the same night, and that's more important. My mother. You're right. Solomon is so low. Maintenance. He'll understand. Low maintenance. That's what I was. Not understanding. Not easygoing. Low maintenance. Like a houseplant they occasionally remembered to water. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't poor planning. This was deliberate. They'd discussed it. They'd decided that my birthday didn't matter. That Travis's promotion party mattered more. And they'd lied to me about it. I sat there staring at my phone, at those screenshots, at the evidence of my entire family's indifference, and something inside me broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet snap, like a dry branch finally giving way. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Solomon? It was my mother. Cheerful, like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't spent $12,000 on my brother's party on my birthday after lying to me about it. What do you want? My voice sounded flat, even to my own ears. I need to talk to you about something important. Can you come by the house this afternoon? Around 2? What is it? I'd rather discuss it in person. It's about Travis's wedding. We need your help with something. Travis's wedding. The one nobody had officially told me about. The one they'd all been planning in a group chat I wasn't part of. I should have said no. I should have hung up. But some part of me, some stupid, hopeful part that I thought had died last night, wondered if maybe this was it. Maybe they were calling to apologize. Maybe they'd realized how badly they'd hurt me. Maybe they wanted to make things right. Fine, I said. 2 o'clock. Perfect. See you then, sweetie. She hung up. I stared at my phone, at the screenshot still open on my screen, at the evidence of their betrayal, and I started to form a plan. I showed up at my parents' house at 2 o'clock exactly. My mother answered the door with a huge smile, wearing a floral dress like we were having a garden party. My father was in the living room, reading the newspaper. Both of them acted completely normal, like the birthday party incident had never happened. Solomon, honey, come in. I made coffee. My mother gestured to the kitchen where she'd set out a full spread. Coffee, cookies, those little sandwiches she makes for book club. She'd gone to effort. What's this about? I stayed in the doorway. Let's sit down first. Your father and I want to talk to you about something exciting. Exciting? For who, I thought, but I followed her into the kitchen. My father joined us, folding his newspaper carefully. They sat across from me at the table like we were about to have a business meeting. My mother pushed a leather binder toward me. Open it. Inside were glossy photos of a winery in Napa Valley. Professional photos, like from a wedding venue's website. Rolling hills, rows of grapevines, a beautiful stone building with huge windows. It looked expensive, really expensive. Travis and Heather's wedding, my mother said, beaming. Isn't it gorgeous? They're getting married September 15th. We're so excited. September 15th, 3 months away. And this was the first time anyone had officially told me about it. My father leaned forward. The venue alone is $75,000. The total budget for the wedding is $160,000. I stared at him. $160,000 for one day. That's a lot of money, I said carefully. It is, my mother agreed, but it's worth it. Travis deserves the perfect wedding. He's worked so hard. Worked so hard. Travis, who'd had everything handed to him his entire life. Who'd had his college paid for, his car paid for, his fraternity dues paid for, his condo down payment paid for. That Travis had worked so hard. We've saved $50,000, my father continued, and we're taking out a small loan for some of it, but we're still short. The kitchen suddenly felt very cold. I knew where this was going. I could see it coming like a train wreck in slow motion. We need you to contribute $40,000, my mother said, just like that, matter of fact. Like she was asking me to pick up milk from the store. I couldn't speak, couldn't move, just sat there staring at them. It's your duty as the older brother, my mother continued. Family helps family. You make good money, Solomon, and you're single, no expenses. You can afford it. Travis helped you move that dresser 2 years ago, my father added. You owe him. Travis helped me move a dresser. Once. 2 years ago. He'd shown up an hour late, complained the whole time, and left after 20 minutes. And somehow that meant I owed him $40,000 for his wedding. Are you serious? I finally managed to say. Of course we're serious, my mother said, looking confused like she couldn't understand why I was questioning this. Family is everything, Solomon. Blood is thicker than water. We all have to sacrifice for Travis's big day. Sacrifice. I'd been sacrificing my whole life. My birthday, my graduation, my engagement, my peace of mind, my sense of self-worth. And now they wanted $40,000. What have you contributed to my life? The words came out before I could stop them. My father's expression hardened. We raised you, didn't we? Put a roof over your head. Fed you. Clothed you. That's contribution enough. You raised me? I laughed. It sounded bitter. Grandma raised me. You two were too busy getting divorced and then remarried and then obsessing over Travis to notice I existed. Don't be dramatic, my mother said. We did our best. And now we're asking you to step up for your brother. What about my college fund? The question had been burning in my mind since 3 in the morning. The one Grandpa left me. $35,000. Where did it go? My parents exchanged a look. A quick glance that told me everything I needed to know. We used that for Travis's education, my mother finally admitted. You were smarter, Solomon. You got scholarships. Travis needed our help more. The room spun. That money was from my grandfather, my mother's father, who died when I was 12. He'd set up a fund specifically for my college education. I'd been told for years that it was invested and would be available when I graduated, but it was never available because they'd stolen it and given it to Travis. You stole my inheritance, I said quietly. We didn't steal anything, my father snapped. We're your parents. We made a decision about how to best use family resources. Travis needed that money. You didn't. My grandmother appeared in the doorway. I hadn't even heard her come in. She was wearing her regular clothes, not the fancy dress from last night's party. She looked tired and angry. Tell him the rest, she said to my parents. Her voice was sharp. Mom, please. My father started. Tell him. My mother sighed. Fine. Your grandmother gave us $100,000 10 years ago. She specified it was for your future, Solomon. For your wedding, your first house, emergencies. Whatever you needed. $100,000. I looked at my grandmother. She nodded, her jaw tight. Where is it? I already knew the answer. We spent it on Travis, my father said. His car, his apartment in college, his fraternity dues, his condo down payment. He needed support. You were always so independent. Independent. I was independent because I had to be. Because they gave me no choice. So you stole $135,000 from me, I said slowly. And now you want me to give you $40,000 more. It wasn't stealing, my mother insisted. It was reallocating family resources. And yes, we need $40,000 for Travis's wedding. It's non-negotiable. The front door opened. Travis and Heather walked in, both of them grinning like they'd won the lottery. They must have been waiting outside, listening. I knew you'd come through, bro, Travis said, walking over to clap me on the shoulder. You always do. That's why you're my favorite brother. I was his only brother. But pointing that out seemed useless. Heather pulled something out of her purse. Wedding invitations. Expensive ones. Heavy cardstock with gold foil lettering. She handed one to me. We already sent these out, she said proudly. 150 of them. Look at yours. I looked. Under with grateful support from was my name. Solomon Brooks. Listed as a patron sponsor in gold letters. You told people I'm paying for the wedding? My voice sounded strange, distant. Part of it, Travis corrected. Just the venue. 40 grand. We figured you wouldn't mind since we're family. We need your answer now, my father said. The venue needs final payment in 2 weeks. Will you contribute or not? They all stared at me. My parents, Travis, Heather. My grandmother stood in the doorway, and I could see tears in her eyes. I need a week, I said, to check my finances. A week? My mother frowned. Solomon, this is family. You don't need to check anything. Just say yes. I need a week. Travis groaned. Come on, man, don't be difficult. Just write a check. 1 week, I repeated. Then I'll give you my answer. My father looked annoyed but nodded. Fine. 1 week. But Solomon, don't disappoint us. Family is everything. Family is everything. They kept saying that. But what they meant was Travis is everything. And I was just the ATM. I left without saying goodbye. My grandmother followed me out to my car. I'm sorry, she said quietly. If I'd known they were going to do this to you, I never would have given them that money. It's not your fault, Grandma. What are you going to do? I looked back at the house. Through the window, I could see Travis and Heather celebrating. My parents were smiling. They thought they'd won. I don't know yet, I said. but I'm done being their backup plan. I drove home, and for the first time in my life, I started seriously planning my escape. Not just from this conversation, not just from this family dinner, from all of them, permanently. Over the next 5 days, I moved like someone in a trance. I went to work, came home, ate dinner, went to bed. But inside, my mind was racing, planning, calculating, preparing. The decorations were insane. A professional catering company had set up long tables with white linens. A live jazz band played near the pool. There was an actual champagne tower, the kind you see in movies. And hanging across the patio was a custom banner that read Travis, Director of Operations in gold letters, that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. They really want you to pay for that wedding, she said, pouring me tea in her kitchen. They don't want me to pay. They expect me to pay. There's a difference. What are you going to tell them? I'd been thinking about that constantly. I'm going to leave. She set down her teacup. Leave? On day 3, I went to my grandmother's house. She lived in a small bungalow about 20 minutes away, filled with photos and memories. Photos of me, mostly. My school pictures, my graduation, my first day of work. Travis was barely in any of them. Where will you go? Seattle. I've been looking into it. My firm has an office there. I can request a transfer. Start over where nobody knows me as the forgotten son. My grandmother was quiet for a long time. Then she reached across the table and took my hand. I'll help you however I can. That simple statement, that unconditional support, almost broke me, because it was the first time in my adult life that someone in my family had offered to help me without expecting something in return. Over the next 2 days, I executed my plan with surgical precision. I met with my boss, explained I needed a change, needed a fresh start. He was supportive, understanding. Within 48 hours, my transfer to the Seattle office was approved. Start date in 6 weeks. I listed my house for sale. The Phoenix real estate market was hot. I got an all-cash offer within 24 hours. $215,000. Closing in 2 weeks. Everything was falling into place. I started packing. Not everything, just the essentials. Important documents, favorite books, clothes, photos. I donated most of my furniture, put the rest in storage. I was keeping my exit strategy quiet until I was ready. On day 5, I went back to work feeling lighter than I'd felt in years. Seattle was beautiful. I'd visited once for a conference. The rain, the mountains, the water. Nobody there knew me. Nobody there would compare me to Travis or expect me to be low maintenance or demand $40,000 for a wedding. I was in my office reviewing blueprints when my door opened without a knock. My mother walked in, followed by a woman I'd never met carrying a leather portfolio. Solomon, honey, we don't have much time, my mother said, closing the door behind them. What are you doing here? I stood up, looking past her to see if my boss was around. How did she even get past reception? This is Bethany. She's Travis and Heather's wedding planner. We need you to sign something. Bethany opened her portfolio and pulled out a document. Multiple pages, printed on official-looking letterhead. She set it on my desk. What is this? A formal pledge, Bethany explained in a professional voice. For the venue payment. They need the deposit by Friday, and your contribution is essential to securing the date. I scanned the document. It was a loan agreement. Solomon Brooks agrees to loan Travis Brooks $40,000, repayable when Travis can afford it. No interest rate, no payment schedule, no timeline. It was essentially a gift with the word loan, slapped on it to make it sound temporary. You want me to sign this? I looked at my mother. Here, now? The venue needs confirmation, Solomon. We're running out of time. Just sign it. Stop being difficult. I told you I needed a week, and we're giving you options. Sign this, and we'll handle the rest. You don't even have to write a check today. We'll work out the details later. Bethany pulled out a pen. An expensive pen, probably part of her whole professional wedding planner aesthetic. Just initial, here, and sign at the bottom. My mother was staring at me. Through my office window, I could see my coworkers glancing over, clearly wondering what was happening. My boss was at his desk 2 offices down. This was humiliating. I signed it. I signed the stupid document just to get them out of my office. My mother didn't even thank me. She just smiled, took the papers from Bethany, and left. Like this was normal. Like ambushing me at my workplace and pressuring me to sign financial documents was perfectly acceptable behavior. The moment they were gone, I sat down at my desk and put my head in my hands. I'd signed it. I'd actually signed it. But it didn't matter. I wasn't going to honor it. In 6 weeks, I'd be in Seattle. They could sue me if they wanted. I'd deal with it from 2,000 miles away. That evening, I got a phone call from my bank. "Mr. Brooks, this is Sandra from First National. I'm calling about a withdrawal from your checking account." My stomach dropped. "What withdrawal?" $40,000. "Withdrawn this afternoon by Patricia Brooks. Is this authorized?" "Patricia Brooks. My mother." "No," I said, my voice shaking. "That's not authorized. How did she even access my account?" "She's listed as a joint account holder. Has been since the account was opened." Joint account holder. I'd opened that account when I was 17, starting my first real job. My mother had taken me to the bank, helped me set it up. I'd never removed her name, because it never occurred to me that I needed to. "Can you reverse it?" "I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks. Joint account holders have full access to funds. The transaction is legal." I hung up and immediately checked my bank app. My checking account, which had $78,000 this morning, now had $38,000. My mother had stolen $40,000. From me. Again. My phone buzzed with a text. From her. "Thanks for the gift. Travis is so grateful. We knew we could count on you. Love you. Love you." She stole $40,000 and ended the message with "love you." I called her. She didn't answer. I called my father. Voicemail. I called Travis. He answered. "Hey, Solomon. Thanks for coming through. The venue is secured. You're the best. I didn't give you that money. Mom stole it from my account." "Stole?" Travis laughed. "Dude, you signed the papers. And Mom's on your account. It's all legal. Stop being dramatic. I want it back. Now." "Can't do that. Already paid the venue. Deposits are non-refundable. But don't worry. I'll pay you back. Eventually. When I can afford it." He hung up. I stood in my kitchen, phone in my hand, my entire body shaking. I'd been planning my escape, but now I had a new problem. My house sale proceeds were scheduled to go into that same checking account. $215,000. If my mother still had access, she could take that too. I drove to the bank the next morning, demanded to speak to a manager, tried to remove my mother from the account. "We need both signatures to make changes to a joint account," the manager explained apologetically. "She stole $40,000 from me. If she's a joint account holder, it's not theft. It's her legal right to access those funds." I opened a new account. Right there. Immediately. Then, I called the escrow company handling my house sale and changed the instructions. All proceeds to go to the new account. But the problem was the timing. Account changes take 3 to 5 business days to process. My house closed in 2 days. That afternoon, I drove to my parents' house. My father answered the door. He didn't let me inside. "You stole from me," I said. "We needed that money. Travis needed it. Stop being selfish." "I want it back." "Too late. It's already paid to the venue. You should be happy you're helping your brother. Let me talk to Mom. She's not here. And Solomon, if you make this ugly, if you try to sue us or cause problems, you'll regret it. We're family. No lawyer will take a case like this. And you'll look like the villain, the petty older brother suing his own parents." He closed the door in my face. I drove home in a daze. That evening, I found Travis and Heather inside my house. Inside. They'd used the emergency key I'd given my parents years ago for emergencies. They were measuring my guest room. "What are you doing here?" I demanded. Travis looked up from his tape measure. "Mom and Dad said, since you're helping with the wedding, we can use your house for the wedding party to stay. We've got 25 people in the party, and hotels are expensive. Your guest room can fit at least 4 people with air mattresses. Get out. Come on, man. Don't be like that. We already sent an email to everyone with your address. Get out of my house. Now. Heather rolled her eyes. You're being ridiculous. It's just for a week. The week of the wedding. I'm selling this house. It closes in 2 days. You can't stay here. 2 days? Travis looked surprised. Why are you selling? Because I'm leaving. Leaving Phoenix? Leaving all of you. I called a locksmith that night. Had every lock changed. Cost me $400 for emergency service, but it was worth it. The next morning my father called, screaming that I'd locked them out. I hung up on him. Then the calls started. Aunts, uncles, cousins. All of them telling me I was being selfish. That family helps family. That I was ruining Travis's wedding. That I owed them. None of them asked for my side. None of them cared. My grandmother tried to defend me. My mother told her to stay out of it. The house closed the next day. $215,000 transferred to my new account. But there was a problem. My mother had filed a claim against the sale proceeds. She told the escrow company I'd verbally promised her $50,000 for family medical expenses. It was a complete lie, but it was enough to freeze the funds pending a court hearing. The hearing was scheduled for 6 weeks out. 6 weeks. My money was frozen. My Seattle transfer was approved, but now HR was asking questions because my mother had called them, claiming I was having a mental breakdown and needed family intervention. She was trying to make me look unstable. Everything was falling apart. My carefully planned escape was crumbling, and I still had $40,000 less in my account than I'd had a week ago. I called my boss, explained the situation. He was supportive but concerned. Suggested I take some time off. Deal with my family situation. The Seattle transfer was now on hold, pending a psychological evaluation. A psychological evaluation. Because my mother had lied and said I was unstable. I spent that night alone in my empty house, surrounded by boxes, my future in limbo, my family actively working against me. I'd tried to escape quietly, tried to just leave, but they wouldn't let me go. They'd stolen from me, lied about me, and now they were trying to destroy my career. And the worst part? Travis's wedding was still 11 weeks away. This nightmare was just beginning. The next 4 weeks were the worst of my life. I barely slept, barely ate. I'd wake up at 3 in the morning in a panic, checking my accounts to make sure nothing else had been stolen. The bank was useless. I went back 3 times trying to resolve the frozen funds from my house sale. Each time they repeated the same thing. The claim was filed. A court had to resolve it. There was nothing they could do. My mother still wouldn't answer my calls. My father sent me a text. You're tearing this family apart. All we asked for was help with Travis's wedding. Instead, you're acting like a child. Acting like a child. I was $38,000 poorer because they'd stolen from me, and I was acting like a child. 3 weeks before the wedding, I went back to my parents' house. I had to try one more time. Had to make them understand what they'd done. My father answered, and this time, he looked annoyed rather than angry. What do you want, Solomon? I want to talk. About the money. About everything. There's nothing to talk about. You contributed to your brother's wedding. That's what family does. I didn't contribute. Mom stole from my account. She's a joint account holder. It's not theft. And you signed the loan papers. Under duress. At my workplace. My father actually laughed. Duress. You signed papers. That's a legal agreement. If you try to sue us, you'll lose. And you'll destroy this family in the process. This family is already destroyed. Because of you. Because you can't be happy for your brother. My mother appeared behind him. She looked tired. For a moment I thought maybe she felt guilty. Maybe she realized what they'd done. Solomon, sweetie, I don't understand why you're so upset. Families help each other. We needed that money. Travis needed it. His wedding is in 3 weeks. Why are you trying to ruin it? I'm not trying to ruin anything. I just want my money back. We don't have it. It's paid to the venue. It's gone. Move on. Move on. Like $40,000 was nothing. Like my entire life savings, my emergency fund, my security, was just something to move on from. What about the house money? The claim you filed? That's for medical expenses, she said smoothly, like she'd practiced the lie. Your grandmother needs surgery. We're helping her. Grandma has insurance. It doesn't cover everything. We need that money, Solomon. Stop being selfish. I turned and left. There was no point. They would never admit what they'd done, would never apologize, would never change. That night, Travis and Heather came to my house. They'd somehow gotten a new key, probably from my parents. I heard them come in around 10 p.m. I was in my bedroom, and I came out to find them in my living room, taking measurements again. What are you doing? We already told you, Travis said, not even looking up from his phone. Wedding party is staying here. Week of the wedding. Your house is perfect because it's close to the venue we're using for the rehearsal dinner. This isn't my house anymore. It's sold. The new owners take possession next week. Then we'll stay until then. 1 week. That's all we need. No. Heather looked at me like I'd just said something in a foreign language. You're being really difficult about this. All we're asking for is 1 week. You owe Travis that much. I don't owe him anything. Travis finally put down his phone. Actually, you do. You've been riding on our family's coattails your whole life. Mom and Dad raised you. Grandma helped you. I helped you move. You owe all of us. And the least you can do is let our friends stay here for 1 week, riding on their coattails. I'd paid my own way through college, bought my own house, built my own career, and somehow, I was riding on their coattails. I called the police, reported them for trespassing. The officers showed up, listened to both sides. Travis showed them the key my parents had given him, claimed I'd given him permission. It was his word against mine. The officers suggested we work it out as a family matter and left. Travis and Heather stayed for 2 more hours, measuring, planning, completely ignoring me. When they finally left, Travis turned at the door. Wedding's in 3 weeks. You're still invited. You're at the head table. You're expected to give a toast. Don't embarrass us. The head table. A toast. They'd stolen from me, lied about me, invaded my home, and they still expected me to smile and celebrate at their wedding. 2 weeks before the wedding, my grandmother had a heart attack. I got the call at work. My mother, hysterical, saying Grandma collapsed at a family dinner. I drove to the hospital, breaking every speed limit. When I got there, the waiting room was full. My parents, Travis, Heather, aunts, uncles, cousins, all of them looking worried. A doctor came out, stable but serious. She needed surgery, a heart stent procedure. It was urgent but not immediately life-threatening. She'd be okay with the surgery. What's the cost? I asked. The doctor glanced at his tablet. With insurance, approximately $15,000 out of pocket. $15,000. Grandma had good insurance, but there were deductibles, co-pays, things that weren't covered. I didn't even think about it. I'll pay it, I said. Whatever she needs, I'll cover it. My mother overheard. She walked over, and for a second, I thought she was going to thank me. Instead, she said, "See? You do have money. You could help Travis, too." I stared at her. What? You just offered $15,000 for Mom's surgery. Travis still needs help with wedding expenses. The catering is over budget. If you have $15,000 for this, you can spare $10,000 for Travis. My grandmother was in a hospital bed, might have died, and my mother was using it as leverage to get more money for Travis's wedding. My father joined us. She's right. You clearly have the funds. Stop being selfish. Family helps family. This is for Grandma's health. She needs surgery, and Travis needs help with his wedding. Both are family expenses. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Travis, standing a few feet away, actually nodded. I mean, Grandma's surgery is important, but my wedding is important too. Can't you split it? 7 or 8,000 for each? Your wedding is in 2 weeks, I said slowly. Grandma might die without this surgery. She's stable, Travis said. The doctor said it's not immediately life-threatening. She can wait a few weeks. Until after the wedding. Then you can pay for the surgery. Delay my grandmother's heart surgery, so Travis could have extra catering at his wedding. That's what they were suggesting. I walked away, found a billing specialist. Arranged payment for Grandma's surgery. Used my credit card because my bank accounts were still frozen or depleted. $15,000 on a credit card with 18% interest. But it didn't matter. Grandma needed help. When I went back to the waiting room, my mother was talking to a nurse. I overheard her saying, "My son is very unstable. He's been making wild accusations. If he tries to see his grandmother alone, please notify us. We're worried about his mental state." She was trying to keep me away from Grandma, trying to paint me as dangerous. The next day, I was allowed to see Grandma for 20 minutes. She was hooked up to monitors, looked pale and weak, but her mind was sharp. "Solomon," she said, her voice raspy, "I heard what you did, paying for my surgery. Of course, you're my grandmother. I love you. I heard what they said too, about splitting the money with Travis. Don't worry about that." She reached for her purse on the bedside table, pulled out a bank envelope. Inside was a check, made out to me, $50,000. "What is this?" "My emergency savings. I've been saving for years. I want you to have it. Take it. Leave these people. They'll destroy you if you stay." "Grandma, I can't take your savings." "You can, and you will. This family has taken everything from you. Your inheritance, your money, your peace. I won't let them take your future too. Take this money. Disappear. Start over. Don't tell them where you go." "What about you?" "I'll be fine. I'm tougher than I look. And I'm going to move. I've already made arrangements. A friend of mine runs an assisted living facility in Oregon. I'm going there after I recover. Away from your parents. Away from all this. Grandma, promise me." "Solomon, promise me. You'll leave." "He promise." She smiled, closed her eyes. A nurse came in and said visiting time was over. I kissed her forehead and left. In the hallway, my mother was waiting. "What did she give you?" "Nothing. I saw her hand you something." "What was it?" "None of your business." She grabbed my arm. Actually grabbed me. "If she gave you money, that money belongs to the family. We'll need it for Travis's wedding." I pulled away. "You're not getting another cent from me. Or from Grandma. Stay away from both of us. You're being selfish and cruel. Travis needs us. We're all making sacrifices for his wedding. No, you're all stealing from me for his wedding. There's a difference." I walked out of the hospital, got in my car, sat there shaking. That night, I deposited Grandma's check, $50,000. Combined with what I had left, I now had $88,000 in liquid assets. My house money was still frozen, but I had enough to leave, to start over. The wedding was 9 days away, and I was done, completely done. 1 week before the wedding, I'd hit rock bottom. Not financially, thanks to Grandma, but emotionally. I couldn't sleep, could barely function at work. My boss had been understanding, but I could see the concern in his eyes. The Seattle transfer was still on hold. Everything was in limbo. The wedding invitation sat on my kitchen counter, mocking me. Gold foil lettering spelling out Travis and Heather's names. My name listed as patron sponsor. Expected to sit at the head table. Expected to give a toast. Expected to smile while they celebrated with money they'd stolen from me. I'd been staying in a hotel for the past week. The new owners of my house had taken possession early. I'd agreed to it because I couldn't stand being there anymore. Couldn't stand the memories. The measurements Travis and Heather had taken. The violation. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "Family meeting tonight. 7 p.m. at Rosario's. Important. Be there." Rosario's was an upscale Italian restaurant downtown. Expensive. The kind of place you go for celebrations. I almost didn't go. Almost blocked her number and spent the evening at the hotel. But some part of me, some stupid part, still hoped maybe they'd come to their senses. Maybe they were calling the meeting to apologize. I showed up at 7, walked into a private dining room, and stopped cold. 23 family members were there. My parents, Travis, Heather, aunts, uncles, cousins, all of them sitting around a long table. They'd ordered appetizers, wine. Like this was a party. My mother stood when I entered. "Solomon, sit down. We need to talk to you." "What is this?" "An intervention. We're all worried about you." An intervention. They'd ambushed me with an intervention. I should have left. Should have turned around and walked out. But I was too shocked. Too exhausted. I sat down at the empty chair they'd left for me. At the head of the table. Like I was on trial. My father started. "Solomon, we're here because we love you. But your behavior over the past few weeks has been concerning. Refusing to help with Travis's wedding. Making accusations. Acting unstable. We think you need help." One by one they went around the table, each person taking a turn to tell me how disappointed they were in me. My Aunt Marcia. "Your brother's wedding is the most important day of his life. Family supports family. I don't understand why you're being so difficult." My Uncle Ron. "You have no wife? No kids? What do you need all that money for anyway? Travis is starting a family. He needs it more." My cousin Jennifer. "We all contribute to family. My husband and I donated $5,000 to the wedding. It's what you do." On and on. 23 people. All of them telling me I was wrong, selfish, unstable. None of them asking for my side of the story. None of them caring that my parents had stolen from me. That they'd lied to me. That they'd spent my entire life treating me like I didn't matter. Travis sat at the other end of the table, looking sympathetic, playing the victim. "I just want my brother at my wedding. I don't understand why he's so angry. All I did was get promoted and fall in love. Why does he hate me for being happy?" Heather put her hand on his shoulder. "It's okay, baby. Some people can't handle other people's success." My mother wiped fake tears from her eyes. "I don't know where I went wrong. I raised you to be generous, to put family first. But you've become so cold, so selfish." I sat there, listening to all of it. 23 people ganging up on me, telling me I was the problem, that everything wrong with this family was my fault. And I realized something. This wasn't an intervention. This was a final attempt to break me, to make me give in, to make me fund the wedding, show up smiling, and pretend everything was fine. Then my grandmother collapsed. She'd been sitting quietly at the far end of the table. I hadn't even seen her when I came in. She stood up suddenly, grabbed the table, and went down. Hard. Everyone screamed. Someone called 911. I got to her first, checked her pulse. It was racing, irregular, another heart attack. The stress, the conflict. This family had literally given her another heart attack. The ambulance came. They took her away. I rode with her, holding her hand while the paramedics worked. At the hospital, they rushed her into emergency surgery. The stent procedure couldn't wait anymore. This was the big one. I sat in the surgical waiting room alone for 2 hours. Then my parents showed up, followed by Travis and Heather, followed by half the family from the intervention. My mother was crying. Real tears this time. My father looked shaken. Travis looked annoyed. Actually annoyed. Like Grandma's heart attack was an inconvenience. A surgeon came out 4 hours later. The procedure was successful, but she'd need monitoring. She'd be in the hospital for at least a week, maybe longer. The cost, even with insurance, would be another $45,000. I didn't hesitate. "I'll pay it." My mother, standing right next to me, actually said, "See? You do have money. You should have helped Travis too." I turned to look at her. Really look at her. Grandma almost died. Right now. Today. Because of the stress you all put on her. And you're still talking about Travis's wedding? "The wedding is in 6 days," my father said. "We've all invested too much to cancel now. Travis still needs help with catering costs," my mother added. "We're short about 10,000. Since you're paying for your grandmother anyway, can you add 10 for Travis?" My grandmother's hospital room was right behind us. Machines beeping, keeping her alive, and my parents wanted me to split the money between her medical care and wedding catering. Travis walked over. "Look, I don't want to seem insensitive. Obviously, Grandma's health is important. But my wedding is in 6 days. We can't postpone. Can't cancel. Too many people are traveling. So, here's what I'm thinking. You pay for Grandma's surgery, obviously. But also, maybe delay some of the payments? Work out a payment plan with the hospital? Then use the extra to help with the catering? He wanted me to put my grandmother on a payment plan so he could have better food at his wedding. Or, Heather chimed in, if you're really strapped for cash, Grandma can delay some of her follow-up treatments. She's stable now. She doesn't need everything right away. Delay her follow-up treatments. Let her risk another heart attack. For wedding catering. Something inside me snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a clean, final break. Like a bone that's been fractured for years, finally giving way completely. No, I said. No to what? My father looked confused. No to all of it. No to the money. No to the wedding. No to this family. My mother grabbed my arm. Solomon, don't be dramatic. We can work this out. I pulled away from her. You want to know what happened to the $50,000 Grandma gave me? That got everyone's attention. My mother's face went pale. She gave me her life savings, told me to leave, to get away from all of you, because you've been destroying me my entire life. That money belongs to the family, my father said, stepping closer. Your grandmother is confused. She doesn't understand what she's doing. She understands perfectly. She understands that you stole my college fund, stole the $100,000 she gave you for me, stole $40,000 from my bank account. She understands that you've spent my entire life treating Travis like royalty and treating me like garbage. We did not, my mother started. Yes, you did. And I have proof. Text messages, bank records. The whole thing. I've documented everything. Travis looked nervous for the first time. What are you going to do? I'm leaving. Right now. Today, I'm leaving this hospital. And I'm leaving all of you. Forever. You can't just leave, my father said. You're still expected at the wedding. Your name is on the invitations. You're sitting at the head table. I don't care. If you don't show up, you'll embarrass us, my mother said. Everyone will ask where you are. What will we tell them? Tell them the truth. Tell them you stole from me. And I left. Travis stepped forward, and for a second, I thought he might actually apologize. Instead, he said, if you leave now, if you skip my wedding, I'll make sure everyone knows what you did. I'll tell everyone you're selfish. That you abandoned Grandma. That you tried to ruin my wedding out of jealousy. Do it. Tell them whatever you want. I don't care anymore. Solomon. My mother's voice was cold now. Threatening. If you walk out that door, you're no longer part of this family. Good. I haven't been part of this family for 28 years. Now it's just official. I walked toward the exit. My mother screamed after me. My father threatened to sue me. Travis followed me to the parking lot, recording everything on his phone, laughing, saying I was having a breakdown, that everyone would see the video. I got in my car and drove. I drove to my grandmother's room first, though. Snuck past my family. She was asleep, hooked up to machines, but stable. I kissed her forehead and whispered, "Thank you. I'm leaving. Just like you told me to. I'll call you when I'm safe." Then I drove to my hotel, packed everything, checked out, drove to the bank and withdrew everything from my accounts. $88,000 in certified checks. Closed all my accounts. Every single one. By midnight, I was on a flight to Vancouver. Not Seattle. Vancouver, Canada. I'd applied to 3 architecture firms there over the past month. One of them had offered me a job. $115,000 a year. Starting in 2 weeks. I landed in Vancouver at 2 in the morning. Found a hotel. Slept for 12 hours. When I woke up, my phone had 67 missed calls. I turned it off. Bought a new phone with a new number. Only gave it to my grandmother and my new employer. 6 days later, Travis's wedding happened without me. I know because I got an email from my grandmother's friend. She said it was chaos. The venue was beautiful, but half the catering didn't show up because the final payment never came through. Travis and Heather fought during the reception. Heather left halfway through. The wedding was apparently a disaster. My parents tried to blame me, told everyone I'd sabotaged it. But some of the family members had started asking questions, started wondering why I wasn't there, started piecing together the truth. I didn't care. I was 3,000 miles away, starting a new life, finally free. 3 months after I left Phoenix, my grandmother came to visit me in Vancouver. She'd recovered from her surgery, stronger than ever. She'd also made good on her promise to move. She'd sold her house in Phoenix for $380,000 and bought a small condo in an assisted living community in Portland, Oregon. Close enough to visit me, far enough for my parents to have peace. We sat in my new apartment overlooking False Creek, watching the boats go by. She looked happier than I'd seen her in years. "Tell me everything," she said. "How's the new job?" "Amazing. The firm is incredible. The projects are challenging. My boss actually values my work. And nobody here knows me as the forgotten son. I'm just Solomon. That's enough." "Have they tried to contact you?" "At first. Constantly. But I blocked everyone except you. They don't have my new number. Don't know where I live. I'm just gone." "Good." She sipped her tea. "You deserved better than them. What about you? How are things in Portland?" "Peaceful. Quiet. I have friends. Activities. Nobody demanding I choose sides or fund weddings. It's the first time in years I've felt relaxed." "Have Mom and Dad tried to contact you?" Her expression darkened. "They tried. Wanted to know where you were. Wanted access to my money. Probably to replace what they lost when you left. I told them to leave me alone. Haven't heard from them in 2 months. And Travis?" "Divorced. Heather left him 3 weeks after the wedding. Apparently, she found out the truth about the stolen money. About the lies. She came from money herself, and her family was horrified. They had the marriage annulled. I tried to feel satisfaction at that. I tried to feel like justice had been served. But mostly, I just felt tired." "Your father had to take out a loan," Grandma continued, "to pay back some of the wedding vendors. $25,000 at 12% interest. They're struggling financially now. They stole $175,000 from me over the years," I said quietly. "A $25,000 loan doesn't seem like enough." "It's not. But it's something. And Solomon, some of the family members have figured out the truth. Your cousin Jennifer called me. Said she felt horrible about the intervention. Said if she'd known what your parents had done, she never would have participated." "Did you tell her the truth?" "I did. I told her everything. She's been telling other family members. The story is spreading. Your parents' reputation in the family is ruined." That should have felt good. It should have felt like vindication. But it just felt sad. Sad that it took me leaving, took Grandma almost dying twice, for anyone to question the narrative my parents had built. "What about Travis?" I asked. "Living with your parents." "He lost his promotion. Apparently, someone at his company found out about the wedding scandal and questioned his judgment. He was demoted back to his previous position. Took a $20,000 pay cut. Wow. He's angry. Blames you for everything. Your parents blame you too. But some people see through it now. Not everyone, but some." We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Outside, the Vancouver skyline sparkled in the evening light. I'd been here 3 months, and already, it felt more like home than Phoenix ever had. "I need to tell you something," Grandma said. "Something important." "What?" She pulled out a folder. "Legal documents. I've changed my will. Everything I have, everything I own, goes to you. The condo, my savings, my car, all of it. Your parents aren't getting a cent." "Grandma, you don't have to do that." "Yes, I do. They stole your inheritance from your grandfather. They stole the money I gave them for you. They've stolen your whole life. I won't let them steal anything else." I took her hand. "Thank you. For everything. For believing me. For helping me escape. For being the only person in that family who ever chose me." "You were always worth choosing," she said simply. The next morning, I took Grandma to breakfast at a cafe near the water. She was flying back to Portland that afternoon, and I wanted to spend every minute I could with her. "What are you going to do now?" she asked over coffee and pastries. Keep building my life here. I've made friends, joined a hiking group, started dating someone. Her eyes lit up. Dating? Tell me everything. Her name is Grace. She's a teacher, 4th grade. We met at a coffee shop. She's kind, funny, smart. Nothing like the people I grew up with. She actually listens when I talk. Values my opinion. Treats me like I matter. Have you told her about your family? Some of it. Not everything. But enough that she understands why I don't talk to them. Does she judge you for it? The opposite. She said anyone who'd treat their child that way doesn't deserve a relationship with them. She gets it. Grandma smiled. She sounds perfect. She is. And the crazy thing is, she thinks I'm great, just as I am. Not compared to a brother. Not as low maintenance. Just me. It's the first time in my life I've felt like someone actually sees me. That's because you finally got away from people who refuse to see you. After I dropped Grandma at the airport, I drove back to my apartment, sat on my balcony with a beer, and thought about everything that had happened. 6 months ago, I'd been in Phoenix, celebrating my birthday alone while my family partied next door. Now, I was in Vancouver, building a life I actually wanted. My phone buzzed. My new phone. The one only Grandma and a handful of people had the number to. It was a text from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I opened it. It was my mother. She'd somehow gotten my new number. Solomon, we need to talk. Family meeting. It's about Travis. He needs help with something. Call me back. I stared at that text for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond. To tell her exactly what I thought of her. Of all of them. To list every way they'd failed me. To make her understand the depth of what they'd done. But I didn't. Because she'd never understand. None of them would. They'd spent 28 years treating me like I was less than, and they'd never see that as wrong. In their minds, they'd done nothing wrong. Family helped family. Travis needed support. I was supposed to sacrifice. I deleted the text, blocked the number, turned off my phone and went for a walk. Vancouver was beautiful in the evening. The mountains in the distance, the water reflecting the city lights, the cool breeze that smelled like salt and possibility. I walked for hours, through neighborhoods I was still learning, past restaurants I wanted to try, alongside people who had no idea who I was or where I'd come from. And that's when it hit me. For the first time in my life, I was free. Really, truly free. Not running, not hiding, not planning my next escape. Just living, being myself, building a life where I wasn't constantly compared to someone else, where my value wasn't measured by how much I was willing to sacrifice, where my presence actually mattered to the people around me. I'd spent years being the forgotten son, the backup plan, the low-maintenance one who'd understand. And I'd finally given them a gift they'd never forget, my absence. My parents had wanted me to fund Travis's future. Instead, I'd funded my own. They'd wanted me to sacrifice for their golden child. Instead, I'd saved myself. 2 weeks later, I had dinner with Grace at a restaurant overlooking English Bay. She reached across the table and took my hand. "You seem different tonight," she said. "Lighter. I feel lighter. For the first time in forever, I feel like I can breathe." "Your family?" "They tried to contact me again. I blocked them. For good this time." "How do you feel about that?" "Peaceful. They gave me one last gift without meaning to. They taught me that I deserved better, and I finally believed it." Grace smiled. "You do deserve better. You deserve everything good. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you chose yourself." "Me too." That night, walking Grace back to her apartment, she asked me about my dreams for the future. Not my family's dreams. Not what I thought I should want. What I actually wanted. And I realized I had an answer. I wanted this. This city. This job. This woman holding my hand. This life where I got to be just Solomon. Where I mattered. Where I was enough. 6 months later, my grandmother visited again. This time, I picked her up at the airport and drove her to my new place. I'd bought a small house in North Vancouver. Nothing huge, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Paid for with my salary and the money she'd given me. No stolen funds, no guilt, just honest work and a fresh start. We sat on my back deck, looking at the mountains. She looked proud, happy. Your grandfather would be so proud of the man you've become, she said. I wish he'd lived to see it. He sees it. I'm sure of it. And Solomon, I'm proud too. You did what most people can't do. You walked away from toxicity, even when it was family. That takes courage. I learned it from you. You walked away too. I did, and it was the best decision I ever made. Besides loving you. My phone buzzed. I glanced at it out of habit. Another unknown number. Another message from someone in my family, probably. They'd been trying for months. Different numbers, different approaches. My mother sent guilt trips. My father sent threats. Travis sent accusations. Cousins sent pleas for reconciliation. I'd blocked them all. Every single one. Are you going to check that? Grandma asked. No. I know what it is, and I don't care anymore. Good. They had 28 years to choose you. They made their choice. Now you've made yours. Do you think I'm wrong? For cutting them off completely? Not even a little bit. Family should be earned, not endured. They didn't earn you. They took you for granted. They used you. They stole from you. And they never, not once, chose you. You don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your money, not your presence. Nothing. I used to think family meant sacrifice. That being the bigger person meant being silent. That love meant accepting scraps. And now? Now I know that family should be mutual. Respect should go both ways. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Exactly right. We spent the rest of the weekend together. Hiking, eating at good restaurants, laughing. She met Grace, and they got along perfectly. She saw my life, my home, my happiness. And she told me she'd never been prouder. The day she left, standing at the airport departure gate, she hugged me tight. Don't ever go back, she whispered. Promise me. He promised. And Solomon? Live your best life. Be happy. That's the best revenge you could ever have. As I drove home from the airport, I thought about that. Revenge. I didn't feel vengeful. I didn't spend my days thinking about my parents or Travis or what they'd done. I just felt free. That evening, I met Grace for dinner. We'd been dating for 6 months now, and it was getting serious. She knew about my past, knew about the family I'd left behind, and she'd never once suggested I should reconcile or give them another chance. She understood that some bridges needed to be burned. I have something to tell you, she said over dessert. What? I got a job offer. In Seattle. A really good position at a private school. More money, better benefits, closer to my family. My heart sank. I'd finally built something good, and now it was ending. When do you leave? I asked. She laughed. I'm not going. What? I turned it down. Because my life is here. My home is here. You're here. Grace, you can't give up a great opportunity for me. I'm not giving up anything. I'm choosing what I want. And I want this life. With you. In this city. I want to build something real. I took her hand. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. That night, walking along the seawall, I realized something. I'd spent my whole life being chosen last. Being the backup plan. Being the one who sacrificed so others could have what they wanted. And now, here was Grace, choosing me first. Choosing me over a promotion, over convenience, over everything else. It was the first time in my life someone had done that. A year after I left Phoenix, I got one final message. This one was from a lawyer. My parents were suing me for the $40,000 they'd stolen from my account, claiming I'd agreed to it as a loan and never paid them back. They wanted the money plus interest. I forwarded it to my own lawyer. She laughed. Told me the case had no merit. That joint account holder or not, the loan agreement I'd signed under duress wouldn't hold up. That my documented evidence of theft, combined with their history of taking my inheritance, would destroy them in court. The case was dismissed 3 months later. The judge actually reprimanded my parents for filing a frivolous lawsuit. They had to pay my legal fees. another $5,000 they didn't have. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt done. Finally. Completely done. 2 years after I left, my grandmother passed away. Peacefully, in her sleep, in her condo in Portland. I flew down for the funeral. My parents were there. Travis was there. The whole family was there. They tried to talk to me. My mother cried, said she'd missed me, said we should reconcile now that Grandma was gone. My father demanded to know why I'd turned her against them. Travis accused me of stealing her inheritance. I didn't engage. I sat through the funeral, gave a beautiful eulogy about the woman who'd saved me, and left. Her lawyer read the will afterward. I wasn't there, but I heard about it. Everything went to me. Her condo, her savings, her car, every penny. My parents tried to contest it. They lost. The will was ironclad. I used the money to start my own architecture firm, Brooks Design. Small, boutique, focused on sustainable residential projects. Within a year, we had 6 employees and more clients than we could handle. Grace and I got engaged. We got married at a small ceremony in Whistler. 50 people. Friends, colleagues, people who'd become family by choice rather than blood. It was perfect. I never went back to Phoenix. Never spoke to my parents or Travis again. Eventually, they stopped trying to contact me. Eventually, the rest of the family stopped sending messages asking for reconciliation. 5 years after I left, I got a letter from my mother. No return address, but I recognized the handwriting. I almost threw it away without opening it. But Grace convinced me to read it, just once. For closure, it was 1 page, handwritten, and it said this: Solomon, I don't know if you'll read this. I don't know if you'll ever forgive us, but I need you to know that I'm sorry. Your father and I made mistakes. We favored Travis. We took you for granted. We stole from you. We were wrong. I see that now. Travis sees it too. He's in therapy, working on himself. Your father won't admit it, but I think he has regrets. I know it's too late. I know we can't undo what we did, but I wanted you to know that I'm sorry, and that I hope, wherever you are, you're happy. Love, Mom. I read it 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer and never looked at it again. Was it a real apology? Maybe. Was it too little? Too late? Absolutely. Did it change anything? No. Because here's what I learned in those 5 years. You can't fix people who don't think they're broken. You can't make people value you if they've decided you're worthless. And you can't wait for the people who hurt you to finally see your worth. You have to see it yourself. You have to choose yourself. You have to walk away from people who make you small, even if they're family, especially if they're family. My parents wanted me to fund Travis's future, but I funded my own. They wanted me to be low maintenance, easy, understanding. But I chose to be valued, respected, heard. They wanted me to sacrifice everything for a family that gave me nothing. But I chose myself, and that choice saved my life. Today, I'm 35 years old. I own a successful firm. I have a wife who loves me. We have a daughter named Hope. She's 2 years old, and I look at her every day and promise myself that she'll never feel forgotten, never feel second best, never feel like she has to sacrifice herself to earn love. My grandmother left me a letter too. I found it with her will. It said, Solomon, you were always my favorite, not because you were perfect, but because you were real. You fought for yourself when no one else would. You chose yourself when everyone else chose your brother. I'm proud of you. Live your best life. That's all I ever wanted for you. All my love, Grandma. I framed that letter. It hangs in my office. On days when I doubt myself, when old wounds try to reopen, I read it. And I remember that at least one person always saw me, always chose me, always believed I was worth it. And now I believe it too. I gave my family a gift they'll never forget, my absence. And I gave myself something better, my presence, my full, complete, undivided presence, in a life I chose, a life where I matter. A life where I'm enough. That's the real victory. Not revenge. Not vindication. Just peace. And I finally have it. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had to walk away from people who were supposed to love you? Have you ever had to choose yourself over family? How did you find the courage to leave? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might help someone else who's struggling with the same decision. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories and realize they're not alone. Subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories about family, betrayal, and finding your way back to yourself. And please share this video with anyone who might need to hear it. Sometimes, knowing someone else walked away and survived is exactly what someone needs to take that first step toward freedom. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you remember that you deserve better, that you're worth more than scraps, that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose yourself. Take care of yourselves out there. And remember, family is earned, not endured.